Good morning, everyone. August 29th, 2020. Boy, I don't know about you, but I am looking forward to January 1st. I've been alive almost 50 years now, and this year has been horrible on so many fronts. Bad year. Anyways, just rambling a little bit, letting people join. Again, most of this session will be your questions, which allows us to dive deeper. I think that is more meaningful. I do have 5 questions that the team shared with me yesterday, which I will go ahead and answer first, thus giving you some time. Who's the first one to join? It has one person join. Anybody? Go ahead and leave a comment or yeah, I guess that's a comment. Tell me who it is. I can't see. Can I see somewhere? I can't see. I don't see anybody. Nope. Now there's 2. All right. So we will go into the live or to the seated questions. Let me just get my piece of paper out here. First and foremost, question came in, how do you get past 4 loans? Kind of in the same question, what happens when you get by 10? So first off, I appreciate you thinking ahead. I appreciate you looking to the future, but I have gotten this question or a flavor of this question probably 100 times. And what I want to tell you is go get one rental at a time. Most of the people that ask me this question have 0. Go get one. Why are you thinking about number 11 when you have 0? That's my first thought. But I will answer the question so it is here and it's recorded. First and foremost, if you don't know, getting loans 1 through 4, I on a scale of 1 to 10, I will call it a kind of an 8.5 or a 9 today. It's relatively easy. They are doing real loans. The only time I've seen it be a 10, and frankly, back then on a scale of 1 to 10, it was probably a 12 or a 13, was 2007. That was stupid lending. So today, pretty good. You have a job, you have down payment, you have a credit score, even in the low 700s, you're going to get those first 4 loans. And you're going to get rates that I have never seen. I've had a couple of people buy properties for me this year, get a 30-year fixed rate with a 2 on it, 2.99 once and 2.97. That's absurd to me. I mean, my first loan was 7 and an 8, I think. So first 4 are easy. Loans 5 through 10 in today's environment, if the first 4, let's call it 8.5, loans 5 through 10 are a 7. And they might actually be getting easier. I'm not sure yet. You got to watch the lending environment, folks. The lending environment drives activity. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder, sometimes it's open, sometimes it's closed. And right now, I would say we went through an aspect where lending really tightened up in March and April. Really tightened up. I think it's loosening again. But still, I would say getting loans 5 through 10 are pretty easy. Again, you may have to have seasoning. They may look for reserves. It's basically everything they're going to do for the first 4 and then some. But I don't think it's obtrusive. I don't think it's crazy hard. I think rates are a little bit higher, but not, you're going to still get something with a 3, maybe a 4 on it. But again, I go back to the question. How do I get past 4? Most people that ask me that have 0. And I want to tell you, I never worried about the finish line. I was always focused for 15 years on one rental at a time. I was just worried about the next deal. I don't have to worry about the 7th deal. I just need the next one. So get out of your head. You're overthinking it. You're planning for a problem that you don't know. If you have 0 today, I can promise you that it will be different in 2 years. Lending will either be easier or harder. I don't know what else to tell you. But now the last question of the day, going for 11 and above. The first and foremost, the thing you need to know that getting the 11th loan is not impossible. Not many people talk about it, but it's relatively easy. You just have to have good credit, down payment, and you're going to pay a much, 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 much higher interest rate. Today, a lot of you get addicted to the threes. You can get an 11th loan. You're just going to pay 6.5 because you have to go. It's not going to be government backed. It's not going to, you're going to have to go to a different kind of institution. I have a lot more than 10 loans and I can get another one. I have to run my numbers with a 6.5% 30-year fixed mortgage. That's the answer that you guys don't want to hear. A lot of you want to hear about getting an 11th or 12th or 13th loan and think you can get a 3%. Sorry. In today's world, that's not possible. You're going to have a 6.5. You can also do seller financing and private lending and all of that, but most of you are thinking bank loans. So you can get an 11th loan. You need to run your mortgage at a 6.5. So that's question one. Question two, what do I think about the Real Estate Guys radio show? Don't know if you know this, but there was a time they were in the Bay Area. I bumped into Russ and I forget his cohort. Russ, whatever. There's two guys. They actually wrote a book called Equity Happens. It's about this big and it's green. I think it's out of print, but I read it. I bought it. I owned it. I got it autographed, but I can't find it. I think they're decent guys. I think they talk their book a lot. I think they're doing some investments in Belize or something. But I think they're generally helping people. But again, like some of the YouTubes I'm now starting to watch and learn from, they're pushing an agenda. An agenda is what they're selling. One thing I'm going to keep sure on this channel is I don't do that. I won't ever push what I'm selling because I don't need to sell my soul. I don't have an infrastructure. I don't have employees. I do this because it's fun and entertaining. And if it ever becomes not fun or entertaining, I'll just stop. I don't have an overhead that I got to feed. So, but I like those guys. Russ, I can't remember his other name. I should have looked that up. But anyways, umbrella policy. Again, I got 3 more questions, 2 more after this. Umbrella policy. When did I get one? So I'll answer the question and then I'll answer the question's question. We got our first umbrella policy after our 3rd rental house. I frankly think that was a mistake, but that's what happened. I think you should get an umbrella policy as soon as you have your first rental property. They're not that expensive. It's that extra layer that's important. In the 15 or 16 years we've had it, we've only used our own umbrella policy once. But it was very helpful when we used it. So it's just an extra layer of comfort. And when you only have one and you have a house and some cars, it's hundreds of dollars. And again, we have paid that willingly for 15 years and we've used it once. I think it's a great investment. And then adding another house it's really cheap. It's 20, 30, 40 bucks. Cash out refi today. So a couple of things. First and foremost, remember what I did with Norris Drive. I wrote about in the book. If you haven't read it, go get it on Amazon or Audible. Just a real quick plug. If you have read it, please, please, please leave a 5-star review on Amazon. I do all of this for free. So a quick 5-star review would be very helpful. Thank you. But I did a cash out refi on Norris Drive the wrong way. I thought banks were going to be conservative. They're not. It turned it into an alligator property. It's the only graphic or image in my book because it's that important. Don't do that. So don't over leverage, over encumber, whatever it is. Don't do that. Second, if you're going to do a cash out refi today and you're going to make it continue to cash flow, the only thing I want to see you spend money on or invest money on, I shouldn't say spend, spend's the wrong word, invest is another rental property. If you are telling me, Michael, I can do a cash out refi, I'm going to continue to cash flow and I'm going to keep the powder dry, go for it. But realize a lot of the people that I saw blow up in 08 said they were going to do that. And then they went out and did something stupid. They bought a car. They bought a once in a lifetime vacation. It's hard. There's not I guess it's human nature in a social media driven world to buy stupid shit. Don't do that. If you or your significant other or your family has a propensity to spend, leave the equity in the building. Don't take it out. Do a rate and term refi, right? If you had the property for 5 years, you're now 25, you got 25 years left, but your rate's 5.25. Just do a rate and term. Take the 25 back to 30 years, refi at 3%, your payment goes down. Folks, if you haven't figured out by now, cash flow is my thing. I don't give a rat's tail about net worth. I don't care about equity. I want cash flow. In fact, we are doing 2 refis today on commercial properties. It's all rate and term. I don't want the cash. There's plenty of equity, but I don't want it. Rate and term only. Last one, LLCs. So I don't talk about this. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know your situation. I think people that give LLC or entity advice are risking lots of things, because I don't believe any one investor situation is the same. It is why I occasionally speak with the people at the Nexus group, because they spoke at a meetup that I was at, and they don't give advice, they ask questions. I liked that. I don't think there is one right answer. I will say, in my history, only because it's history, it's not advice, we didn't get an LLC until we got to our 8th property, or actually until we got out of houses into apartments. And we've had LLCs ever since, and multiple. But that's just us. Again, I do not give advice. I won't give advice. I think anybody who gives canned advice to anyone is selling you something. The reason I talk to the Nexus group occasionally is because it seems to me they ask questions to learn who you are, where are you at, and what you want to do. Yeah. Okay. So those are my seeded questions. Now can I scroll back? I think I can. Yes. Look at that. My screen's touch screen. Cool. Okay. Gabriel, first question. What legal entities do you use for your rentals? How do you protect from possible lawsuits? So again, I have LLCs and umbrella insurance. That's the question for that. You really can't protect from lawsuits. I think what you meant to say is limit the downside, right? There's nothing you could do in the great old US of A to reduce a lawsuit, right? If people want to sue you, they're going to sue you. But you can have umbrella policies, LLCs. And again, just having an LLC, if you go and listen, I actually have a playlist, I think, with Nexus Group called Let's Talk Entities. Just remember, having an LLC is not the end all be all. You have to treat it like a separate entity. So go listen to the playlist, because if you have an LLC and you're not doing it right, you're setting yourself up to have pierce the corporate veil and all of that nonsense. So some people talk about them like they're the answer, and they're just part of the answer, I think. Anthony, is there any reason to look for traditional financing outside of your local banks? Well, again, I don't know your situation. I would tell you, for your first 4, your local bank is probably going to be the cheapest and the fastest, because they have your stuff. They know who you are. You probably have a banking relationship. When you get to number 5, probably shop around, because some banks want those and some banks don't. When you get to 11, yeah, you're going to shop around. I think that's yeah, for sure. If any of these questions I answered, Gabriel or Anthony or anybody going on, just keep asking them. The reason I'm doing this live with questions is so we can go deeper. Sometimes I answer a question and I don't understand the real depth of your question. So if I miss it, no harm, no foul. Just ask again. I'm going to keep scrolling down. Gabriel, what do you think of family limited partnerships? Gabriel, I am out of my depth. I don't have one, don't know one, haven't done research. Don't know. Sorry. The good news about this channel is if I don't know, I'm going to tell you. I don't know. Look at buying subject to existing low interest rates from Ultimate Bargains. Yeah, I think that is going to be an extremely popular strategy. It's already popular, but I think it's going to explode in activity next year. I think the forbearance wave, it will come. It'll eventually lead to more inventory. And if you can get in and do subject to on existing loans, man, it's going to be a way I get some cheap loans. I'll tell you that much. Yeah. Tamika, yes, sooner rather than later. I believe that's to the umbrella question. Thank you. I totally agree. Where'd we go? Oh, there we go. I suggest Chris Haskins. He invests in lower price neighborhoods. Good YouTube channel. Sounds good to me. Don't know who he is, but I trust you. Max, keep up the great work. Love your channel. Thanks, brother. Appreciate that. I have a lot of fun. If you can't tell, I do this because I enjoy it. I'm very lucky that way. Tamika, yes, if you're using the cash out refi as leverage to buy another property, that's good. Yes, not only that's good, that's the only acceptable. Well, there's two right answers. That, or if you want to build your emergency reserve. I'll take that as well. If you want to build your emergency reserve. Have you bought a foreclosure with a pink condemned sign? Violations over full price. He can't tell me how much over. It's $100K cost to rehab, $40K ARV. No, wait. It's $100K cost to rehab, $40K ARV. I think there's some commas missing. So let me think. Lewis, I'm reading your question. Have you bought a foreclosure with a pink condemned sign? So I have bought properties that are flagged by the city. I don't know if they were condemned with a pink condemned sign. So I don't know. But I've worked with cities to remove the violations. But again, I don't know if a pink condemned sign is something specific. Don't know. I think mine was red. Might have been orange. I think it was orange. Again, I don't know if color means anything. Violations over referral price. Yeah, see, violations, you have to figure out what they are. The foreclosure that I bought with all these city violations, a lot of the dollar amount was interest and penalty. So what I was able to do once we controlled the property is go to the city, show them my history, and we were able to work out. These numbers won't be exact, but they'll be close. The property I bought had about $100,000 in city fines and fees and all of that. They've been accruing for a couple of years. I was able to get that $100,000 fine down to about $8,700. $8,700. Then I had to pay like $2,000 or $2,500 for permits. And then the city was all up in my grill for like 90 days, but it was a profitable deal. And I think I still own that house today. So what I would tell you, again, I think there's some commas missing, is get the list of violations, go talk to the city. And again, I don't know what a pink condemned sign means. Sometimes you just got to tear it down. And then you tear it down and sell a lot. There you go. Let's see, where are we? Hello, let's see. How can I create a business plan to buy 20 properties in the next 5 years? I am concerned I'll be running out of capital that might delay my goal. How can I accomplish this? This is just continuing. Is this reachable for a full-time employee? 20 properties in 5 years? Basilio, first off, it's absolutely possible. Again, I don't know your market. I don't know your income. I don't know your savings. I don't know. But there's nothing magical. That's 4 properties a year. Assuming you have the income, savings, and credit, you can absolutely do that. I would tell you the thing that will be helpful is obviously an appreciating market. One thing that allowed us to explode our growth is about year 5, we did 1031 exchanges. So we went from 8 to 80 with no new money. It was all equity. So again, don't know your situation, your income, your savings, your market, all of that. But yeah, Getting 20 properties in 5 years is absolutely possible, but don't, kind of like question number one, don't get distracted looking at the end zone, which is 20, and forget that you're supposed to run the next play. I would tell you to spend most of your time only worried about the next deal. It's amazing how creative you get when you only think about the next deal. I think too many people look at the end zone and try to build the spreadsheet. And believe me, Basile, I did the same thing. I've admitted it many times. I spent too much time beating up my Excel spreadsheet. You should only be worried about the next deal. And when you do that, it's amazing how creative you get, because sometimes you need money. So I got a loan on it. I have all my cars free and clear. During 2010, I had no more money, no, except an emergency fund, which I don't touch. I got a loan on my free and clear cars to buy the next one. Just worry about the next deal. But yes, 20 properties in 5 years is possible. It's probably not possible in San Francisco or Manhattan. But again, I don't know where you are. I think you're in Miami. I think you're in Florida. I don't know if you're in Miami. I think you're in Florida from past communications. But yeah. The real Freddie Z. Mike, you're part of my info morning. CNBC Drudge than you. I take that. Thank you, Freddie Z. Alex. Hey, Michael, regarding the new eviction bill, do you think the judge would grant you an eviction order? Yes. So if you don't know, I did a video late last night. I think it was 8:30 or 9 o'clock. This is obviously California. I think it was Assembly Bill 3088. One of the requirements, Alex, is I understand it. Now, it won't be law. Is it an Assembly Bill law? I don't know. It won't be in effect until Tuesday, September 1st, assuming it's signed Monday, which it will be because Gavin Newsom will sign it. When we issue a 3-day notice for a tenant who can't pay, they have 15 days now, because now a 3-day notice is a 15-day notice. Don't ask me why, it just is. But they have to provide proof of hardship. If they don't, you go right to evictions. Well, you can start the eviction process, which I'm sure is going to be slow and arduous in California. That is what is in the Assembly Bill. It's kind of, the Assembly Bill is not perfect, but it is far better than I expected. And the only politician I ever poke at is Gavin Newsom, and I tried to give him props yesterday for the first time ever. I am sure creating a bill that gave some to both sides was hard. And frankly, creating a bill I think that neither side is happy with is the best you could hope for. So yes, Alex, I believe that is the Assembly Bill, assuming that lasts until Monday. I think it's there. Yes. Let's see. Virage, I think. Let's see. Morning, Michael. Finding some good deals in my area, but my debt to income is pretty much tapped out at the moment. Any thoughts on how I can finance these properties? Any creative strategies you've used? So a couple of things. First off, you can always go get a second job. You can always raise the income side. I'm just saying. There were a couple of times I had 3 jobs, so I'm just saying. I'm being a smart ass, but let's not forget you can also increase income. But yeah, what I've done when my debt to income was pretty high is I looked for owner financing was a big deal. As was talked earlier about by Ultimate Bargains, something you can learn is subject to. That won't hit your debt to income. So there are ways. A, increase your income. B, get better at what people call creative financing, which is seller financing or debt to income, debt to income, or subject to. Just so we know, I've said it many times, but I'll say it again. I've not done subject to yet. I plan to make that a big part of my strategy next year. I do have that office building called the Hub in Fresno, and I expect that to somehow become I'm going to somehow market and get people to bring me deals that way. It's going to be fun. I haven't figured out how to do that yet, but I think I'm going to. Tamika, yes, we agree. Either buy more assets or an emergency fund. Don't buy dumb blank. Yes, I agree with you. I shouldn't have swore earlier. Sorry about that. Do you recommend getting a real estate license before becoming an investor? I know you have one, but said you aren't going to renew. If you already have a full-time job, meaning you're already busting your butt between 8 and 6, I do not recommend getting a real estate license. I did not have a real estate license. I became financially free without a real estate license. I do not think, as you correctly say there, the real estate license provides me any value. I got it because I thought there was magic data in this thing called the multiple listing service, and there isn't. If you were to rewind the clock 2 decades, there was a lot of information in the MLS that wasn't publicly available, and I would probably keep it. But I'm an investor. I have no interest in open houses. I have no interest in paperwork. I have no interest in disclosures. I have no interest. So I will not be renewing it. I think it's up in October. So generally speaking, the real estate license, again, this is California. It's the only state that I have a license in. It's all about disclosures and understanding the paperwork. It doesn't make you a good investor. There's nothing I did in that class or classes that made me a good investor. So if your goal is to be an investor, I see no value in the license. But if your job, like the one thing that I do like there's somebody at the hub called Chris Williams, great guy. I've interviewed him a couple of times. You should check it out. He's a wonderful guy. What he has done is he's created a vertical company because he's a full-time investor. But what he does now is he tracks leads. And one of his outcomes is, hey, if I got a lead, but I can't wholesale it or flip it, but I can list it, he lists it. But again, he's in Fresno. He has a team. He has found a way to monetize all of his leads. I think he's a genius, Chris Williams, for doing that. I have no interest in that. It's too much work. I do real estate before 11 a.m. and then I'm done most days. No interest in being that kind of busy. So hopefully that answers. And that was from Mr. Arthur O. Williams B. Thank you for your question. Are you a turnkey provider? I'm going to say yes and no. I turn slumlord properties into what I call pride of ownership rentals, but I don't do that as a full-time job. I don't have people. I don't have employees. When I think turnkey provider, I think they're turning out 10, 12 a week. I think they have 10 employees. I think they have to buy and sell to pay the bills. I do not do any of that. I buy all of my assets so that I can keep them long-term, but occasionally I sell them off to other providers. I've done 51 to date. I have 5 in the works. 3 are complete and 2 are coming. But again, I'm happy to keep them. So again, I don't want employees. I don't want a vertical company. I want to enjoy the rest of my life. I want to help people up the financial freedom or financial ladder. And I think if I had infrastructure and employees, it would detract from my stated goal. So there you go. Carpe Diem says he's bought a condemned building a couple of times. No big deal. Yeah. I just think you got to check what condemned doesn't mean unsavable. It meant it was unsavable for the last owner, but anytime there are problems, well, not anytime, most of the time in real estate, problems equal profit. If you can solve them. All right. Oh, why did I do that? There we go. All right. Just because we're halfway through, we got 53 people watching and 15 thumbs up. What's up with that, people? We not enjoying this? Where's the love with the thumbs up? It takes like 3 seconds. All right, that's enough. Let's see, where are we? Florida, okay. I live in Miami, but invest in Jacksonville. Yep, I remember that. Ultimate bargains, all I can tell you is that's California law. It's called a 15-day notice. Well, it used to be a 3-day notice. Now, because of this thing that will be signed Monday, is a 15-day notice. It's California, man. What can I tell you? Millennial Mike, my good friend Millennial Mike. I got my offer rejected on a triplex a couple of days ago. They used it to get their cash buyer to come up closer to full price. Any tips? I need tips on how to structure the offer differently to avoid that. FYI, it was a REO property, bank-owned foreclosure. Wow, you're already finding bank-owned foreclosures, Mike. I'm going to guess this is in your lovely state of Indiana where you're building your portfolio. Yeah, so I think there's a couple of things. When you're in this market today, again, with my experience, what we are seeing is for problem properties, which I would consider a bank-owned property a problem, it's going to be tough to get a loan because there's a lot of cash buyers. And really again, I don't know this situation, I'm just guessing based on experience, is your cash buyer was faster. And they were probably limited conditions. I don't know your situation, Mike, in this case, but I'm guessing you probably were getting a loan, which meant you had inspections and appraisal conditions. And if you are a cash buyer and you have no conditions and you're faster, it's going to be tough to compete with a loan. So realize when you're bidding on REO properties that have problems, one of the answers you might work on, Mike, is because you can still get bank loans, I believe, right? Because I think you're at 2 or 3. But you might want to set up some private or some hard money or private money if you can, so that you can appear to be a cash buyer for the triplex and then burr out 6 to 9 months later with bank financing. If you are going to go after problem properties, which I consider REOs problem properties, speed and no conditions are what get yes answers. I bought plenty of REO properties over the years, and I was not the highest bidder, but I was the bidder with no conditions in speed. I remember one property in particular that I closed in 3 days, and I bid $50K less. I was $50K less than the highest bid, but I could write a check and close in 3 days. All I wanted was clean title. You just got to know what the seller wants, Mike. And if it was a bank property, they want speed and they want certainties. The other thing I just thought of, if you can get to it, is you could make you could do a bigger earnest money deposit. And if you're really ballsy, you could do a hard deposit where you don't get it back, but that's risky, right? But those are things you can think of. You just got to remember, you have to sell to the seller's needs. And most of the time it's risk and speed, not amount. Yep. Millennial Mike, sellers play buyers off each other. Ultimate bargains. You are right. Kenneth Frederick skipped. Oh, I skipped you. Where'd you go? Did I skip you? I didn't mean to skip you. Let me scroll back. Scrolling back. I don't see anything. No, I didn't skip you. I didn't skip you. Let's see what you said. I really like this touchscreen. Oh, are you a turnkey provider? I answered that. Oh, where are we? Danny. Oh, Danny, man, do you have properties in other states? If so, where? No, I'm only in Fresno, California. Well, I have a place in New York my daughter lives in, and I have a place in Sedona, Arizona, where my grandmother used to live, but now is a rental. But no, my portfolio is in Fresno, California. Max, if you were 33 and did not own any real estate assets, what would you do first? Buy your first home or buy a rental unit to build capital for your personal home in the future? Max, there's so many variables in that question, I have no idea how to answer, but I'll give it a shot. If you're going to live in your primary residence for more than 10 years, and you're raising a family and all those things that come with an owner-occupied home, there's nothing wrong with that. I think these people out there saying rent where you live and own what you rent, if that makes sense, is kind of a little disingenuous. My personal story doesn't end well if my mother and father don't buy that house in Sunnyvale, California. It was a bank, frankly, for a couple of very tough times in my childhood. So I think homeownership is awesome. I think one of the things we're going to see coming out of this crisis is homeownership goes up, and I'm all for that. So I am not a investor or a channel that's going to ever tell you not to buy your primary residence. I think it's a part of your financial future. But if you're going to only live there for a couple of years and you're in a high price market like the Bay Area or Manhattan, not a great time. But that's not most people. And again, Max, I don't know your situation. I don't know where you live. Don't know lots of things. But I will tell you that owning a home is awesome. So hopefully that answers your question. If not, ask a second level below. Tamika, if you haven't read Michael's book, One Riddle at a Time, do so. It'll answer several of your questions. Carpe diem, condemn mostly means not livable, roof leaks, no water on, no toilet. Yeah, no electricity, all that stuff. Yep. What happened? Did I miss some earlier? I must have. Okay. Foreclosure cost $100K. Okay. To repair 35, ARV 190. Well, Lewis, if you can't pull the violation codes, I would not do that deal, Lewis. So again, sorry, I got to read this so other people see it. Sorry for the confusion. I meant to say foreclosure costs $100K, $35K to rehab, ARV 190. I went with a contractor. He says property is good. I just can't pull violation codes and realtor can't. Well, I would write an offer up and I would put a big ass condition in, says will not close until have violation list or report or whatever it is. And I promise you the owner will get you that report. The owner of the property can get that. Absolutely. Just make the owner do their freaking job. And if they don't, my guess is they're hiding something. At least that's how I would read that. What is your opinion on turnkey providers? Many times, I think turnkey providers run big operations. I think they do provide some value. I would tell you, you need to evaluate turnkey provider first, market second, deal third. Most people do it ass backwards. They look at the deal first, the market second, and the provider third. That is absolutely the wrong answer. There are many turnkey providers out there that historically have gotten caught doing bad things. Anytime this kind of money is involved and you're kind of trying to sell something quick and easy, it's easy to cut corners, maximize profit, especially evaluate the provider first, market second, deal third. And if they can help you and you can get a loan, it makes sense. I do think turnkey providers do provide value, but realize they are squeezing every profit angle out of that deal. You can get a cash flow unit. It can be made ready, but realize the person that made money is going to be the provider. If you hold it long enough, though, you'll be fine. But again, I think there's enough money and historically bad actors out there that you should evaluate the provider, the market, and the deal in that order. Hopefully that makes sense. Where'd you go? The scrolling is not as easy as I thought. Sorry, I was reading your question. It went away. Leasing agents for extra money in addition to W-2 so that they could learn more about real estate markets plus extra cash, or would you recommend that approach? Andrew, most of us need a job. Most of us need an income. I think it sounds like you have a W-2. It says my connection is unstable. Please wait while trying to reconnect, but it's still counting. So I'm going to assume that's okay. Andrew, so it sounds like you have a job and you're looking for a second job to learn. I think that's a great idea. I think keeping your W-2, your 8 to 6, whatever it is, adding a leasing agent, being a leasing agent is going to get you around real estate. Getting around real estate grows your network, grows your vocabulary, you get more comfortable. So yeah, go for it. Do I know anybody that did that? Not leasing agents specifically, but I've known many real estate agents who have become investors. Yeah. Common sense, not common. I find so I keep it. I don't mind the paperwork, not ongoing education. Yeah. Again, let's see, since I've had my license, I've probably made 30 grand. It's only been on my properties where I basically split either side with somebody else who did the paperwork. I don't mind a sound 4 months. Sorry. I hate paperwork. I'm just not going to renew it. Just not going to renew it. Let the person who's helping me get that. So I'm not going to renew it. But yeah, lots of people do. If you don't mind paperwork and the ongoing education, go for it. I just choose to spend my time elsewhere. I made a fair offer based on my market research. Seller wanted to play hardball to garner higher offers. I walked away from the deal. I will not do a bad deal or average deal. Awesome. Know your market. Again, if you've been watching the channel for any length of time, this market we are in today is very unique. It has never been this low supply and this high activity in most markets. So know your market, know your market, know your market. It will turn around, I'm guessing, next year when more inventory comes on. All right. Kenneth, you're welcome. Real Freddy Z. Mike, I know you think it sounds weird asking for the lakes, but half the time when you ask for it, I just forget to press. Oh, likes. Press the button, asked for it, reminds us, love the channel. Yep, you got it. Awesome. Thank you, buddy. I will do that. Am I obligated to disclose a private loan such as owner finance property on a new property? My last bank loan offer asked if I had any. Obligated, Josh. Am I obligated to disclose a private loan such as owner finance property to a lender on a new property? My last bank loan offer officer asked if I had any. As you know, Josh, I believe in good karma and putting it out there. So yes, I would. I personally, I know lots of people that will only list. I think that's dishonest and probably could be seen as fraud. Probably. I don't choose to. I just choose to put it out there all the time. So obligated is personal. I think it's a personal obligation to give as honest a financial statement as possible, and that includes payments on private loans. My opinion, probably not common. Hit the like button, people. I appreciate that. Give yourself a raise. I appreciate the shout out. Yep. Gabriel, would you buy a property with all cash to get a better leverage on the deal, and then after it is rented, go get a mortgage for the property, recover your cash investment? Absolutely. Gabriel, all the time. You just got to watch the lending environment, because if you were doing that, if you bought a property in January and then looked to do your cash out refi in April, it probably would have been tough, right? Lending really locked down. But if you could hold that until, say, now, most people could go get it out. Realize that, again, lending changed, where in January you probably could get 70 or 75% LTV. Today you're probably going to get 60 or 65% LTV. But yes, frankly, I can't remember the last offer I didn't write that was all cash. I bet you it's been a decade. It's been at least 8 years. Yeah, I write all cash all the time. I write, just to be clear, I write all cash and 10-day close all the time. Because I want to beat out people like Millennial Mike. Just picking on you, Mike. I want to beat Mike. People like Mike who can get loans can pay more. But if I ever find a seller that needs speed, like his example earlier, my cash and 10-day close might win. And to Tamika's point earlier, if I can pay less and get my money back, I can make it a great deal instead of a good deal. All these things tie together, folks. LLCs, especially for non-recourse seller finance, keep completely separate your business and personal loans. There you go. That's a good point. Ultimate Bargains, right? Because it's a separate entity, and if you do it right, they are separate entities. Don't have to do that. Yep. Common sense, not common. I've bought several foreclosures with cash and always no conditions. Totally agree. Mike, yep. Start building a hard money lender connections. Great advice, Mike. Thank you. Understanding seller needs is what I'll focus on. Awesome. Simple Fit Life. Hi from beautiful East Coast of Florida. How do you go about finding REO realtors? So again, I don't know your market. Where on the East Coast of Florida? East Coast, would that be like, I guess that's Miami, or is that Fort Lauderdale? I don't know. I'm not good geographic wise. But usually they don't hide. I bet if you go on the market and just like realtor.com or Zillow and type in REO search, you'll find agents. Those agents, what you'll see is you'll need to find an agent with more than one listing, because what happens with REO agents is they become the pipe for different financial institutions. So at least if 2010 is like today or what is coming, they will pick agents per geographies, and they will just send all of their listings to the same agent. So there's a guy that I followed for a long time named Tony Alvarez. He was in Southern California. I think he's in Oregon now. He had a book called The REO Mentor. That's all he talks about, is building relationships with agents who control inventory. So go look at that book. Tony Alvarez. He's a big guy, or at least he was a big guy. I haven't seen him in 5 or 6 years. But yeah, it's all about relationships with REO agents. Nope, no problem. Common sense, not common. Apparently there's a USDA 0 down loan for your first loan. Never used it, don't know what it is, but if you can get in for 0 down, go for it. Yeah, USDA, yeah, we'll go up in price. I agree. Okay, good job. Oh, scroll down. My screen is so sensitive. Anthony. If you buy a house that is mechanically sound but needs updating throughout, where do you concentrate first? Is there parts of the house that have more REO in the rental world? So I cover this, I think, in my book. What I always do, assuming it's watertight, windows, roof, all of that, I start outside in because I want to have the property rented before I'm done. If you do the bathrooms and kitchens first, but the outside is ugly, and by outside, let's be clear, I mean front yard. I don't give a rat's ass about the backyard, front yard. So because I want people to stop. I want people to stop in the car and come in and talk to my contractors and get a rental application while it's being remodeled. So I tell my teams, hey, this house should be available in 4 weeks. We're going to be asking $1,100 to $1,200. Here's a stack of rental applications. Please hand these out every time somebody stops. So I start outside in, or I should say I start front yard in. And it works for me. I can't remember the last house that I didn't have rented before we were done. Then I do floors. I used to do carpet everywhere. Stupid. I now do that LVT, I think it's called. Basically fake wood. It's really good stuff. It lasts multiple renters. Gabriel, again, talk to a lawyer. I don't know your situation. I don't comment on entities. I'm not getting my ass in trouble. Yes, tenants rent bedrooms. Number of bedrooms first, number of bathrooms second, and parking third. Congratulations, Justin. You got your license and you're saving some money on fees. Congratulations. Rennie, what do you think is lacking from real estate software, website, Zillow, Trillia? I've never seen Zillow, Trillia, Streetwise, StreetEasy talk about what they think is a best deal or comparisons. I think Rennie, you sent me an email before because you're building an app to compete with these folks, or maybe it's an app that combines them. One thing that would be cool, again, is to have an opinion on what is overpriced, underpriced. Go to, I think is it Car Gurus? There's some car where people sell cars that one of the indicators is overpriced or underpriced. That's something to go look at. Go look and see what they're doing for cars. I don't use Zillow, Trillia, and StreetEasy for information. I talk to people, right? I talk to agents and brokers and all of that. How do you find private lenders and what is the requirement? Again, there's a lot of legal ramifications around this. How I have raised millions of dollars in private lending is documenting my story. Document learning your market. I've never asked for a penny of private money. I believe, I'm going to mess this name up, Emilio's. You need to learn your market. You need to learn your market so well that you can document what is a good or great deal. You need to, in the past, in 2010, document meant I had a blog. In 2018, it meant I had a YouTube channel. And I just kept documenting the good deals. And when you do that long enough, people call you and go, hey, how can I be part of your success? So you have to have a meaningful relationship and all of these other things. But I think the key to raising private money is to never ask for private money. Document, document, document. All right, let's do one more question because I have to get ready for my students. LVT, yes, luxury vinyl tile. Thank you. I always forget. I get all scattered. Yep. Let's see. Let's see. What else? We'll do this last one. Kenneth Fredericks. What should I do with $25,000 in a bank account? Hard cash. I am completely new to real estate investing. Kenneth, what I would do is learn your market. I would spend the next 90 days learning your market. That's all I talk about with my students. Learn your market. You need to understand what a good or great deal is. Hundreds, thousands of listings out there. Most are average and bad. With $25,000, most of that's probably an emergency fund. I would keep learning your market, keep saving. I wouldn't write a single offer until next year. Learn your market. All right, everybody, I'm going to call that a day. I need to shut this down, get a cup of coffee, and I am going to go talk to my students who have bought the $199 course and are learning their market. Take care, everyone. Bye.